It's time for Justice for All, Behind the Badge video, streamed live from Team Toyota Route 1 in Langhorne with your host, Tom Mellon, featuring Bucks County District Attorney Matt Weintraub and Bucks County Sheriff Fred Harran. Here's your host from Team Toyota, Tom Mellon.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm your host, Tom Mellon. I'm here with my good friend, Fred Harran, who is the present and into the future, our sheriff here in Bucks County. I want to thank all my very ardent supporters for all the shows that they listen in. Frank and Terry Colozzi out there in Levittown. Frank, I know you're in your garage right now with the old-fashioned type of guy. He goes out into the garage and he's very introverted and listens to the show, so there's no interruptions. So Frank, thank you very much. Also, I want to thank Paul Muller, the sponsor of all of our radio shows, Behind the Badge, Justice for All, Let's Go Places, Your Health with Tom Mellon, and we had Dining Around for a while too, remember? Maybe that'll come back someday, and then you'll have to bring your lovely wife out for one of our...
I don't get invited to that show, Dining Out.
You're dining around. Well, I haven't been doing that in a while with the COVID and everything.
Oh, gotcha.
But I keep...
COVID's over, Tom. Did you get the memo?
Let's get it done, right?
It's done.
It's all over. I had it twice, and I'm finished with it.
I had it once.
Did you really?
History will tell what that was all about.
You know what? That's a great way to capture that. Yeah. Tour of Honor was an extreme success. April 24th, we had 7 busloads of our veterans. Nice. One of those busloads, our students, they came down. We had a great, remarkable reception down at the in Washington, D.C. The motorcade, I can't thank Frank McVeigh, your lieutenant.
Bill McVeigh.
Bill McVeigh.
And Bob Bush.
And Bob Bush.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
Good.
John McNesby from Philadelphia. Tony Boyle, my hat's off to you. Tony Boyle, who's a chief inspector in charge of highway patrol.
Nice.
He took care of a lot of the navigation. And
Philly does a great job with that.
They really do.
They, as I remember, when I was in Bensalem, they were great partners. Whenever you needed something, they never hesitated. They just did it.
It was right. It was done. But so I called Tony Boyle and I said, we'd like to get some kind of, maybe pipe and drum, and he's involved with that as well. So we had the pipe and drum for the return when I guess it was around 5:30 when the buses arrived and we came back at Parks East by the racetrack, and it was just fantastic. Yeah. Everybody had good weather. Was great.
Yeah.
Everybody enjoyed themselves. There was without incident. And the traffic wasn't too bad. Sometimes it can.
I've been down there, and the traffic, it just gets a little rough.
It really does. It really does.
I'm glad you had a good time.
It was a great time.
Good.
Coming back, we ran into a little congestion, but it was just fantastic. So Joe Saffron and Jerry Fretz, Mike DeBonis, everyone did a great job. We have many volunteers, and that's how it gets done.
Right.
There's no I in team. It's the teamwork that makes it successful, and it was remarkable. June 13th, I will be addressing the Bucks County Chiefs at their luncheon, or their monthly luncheon. I'm certain you'll be there.
I will be there.
That's at the Spring Mill Country Club. We'll be sponsoring it. Paul Muller once again sponsoring the luncheon, and this topic will entail the benefits of a new special program that we're doing here for our veterans, our police, fire, all of our first responders and their family members. And you'll be hearing more about it. I mention it on all of our shows, the Heroes Special Program. Right now, with the way the epidemic is, shortage of inventory with vehicles, everybody needs cars.
Yeah.
I don't see many bicycles driving up and down the street. People still need to drive to maintain and a sustainful life for working and personal matters. So this program here, where many dealerships are charging over MSRP. Yes, you heard that correctly. Many dealerships are charging, as they can, over MSRP. And we've never wavered. We have, under the direction of Paul Muller, we've always been at the MSRP. And with this special program, Paul said to me, let's do something special. And letters will be going out to more than 12,000 of our military members. And then with the help of our police chiefs, we're going to be reaching out by email and by letters to all of our
Nice.
first responders, so that when they come in to purchase a vehicle, we're knocking another $500 off the cost of any vehicle that they want. Plus, any of the warranties I discount for them at cost.
Nice.
So that's what we'll be talking about at the, or I will be presenting at the luncheon on June the 13th. The golf outing, that's June 26th at Ben Salem Country Club. That's for once again, the Bucks County Tour of Honor. Our buddy, your friend, Frank Pirano, the judge, he will be running that. Again, many, many sponsors, and we're looking for sponsors. So if there's any business out there or anyone who wants to golf, maybe challenge Freddie's talents out there, you'll see him.
That's not much of a challenge.
I don't know. You never know. Got that hole-in-one that'll be going on out there. You may get lucky, Fred. No?
Unless you get a prize for putting the ball through one of the car windows, I have no shot.
Okay. But that's going to be a great day.
Yeah.
Rain or shine, it'll be a lot of fun, and you'll be supporting, your veterans. There's cost involved when we bring our veterans down to Washington, D.C. It's somewhere around $70,000, $80,000, $70,000 to $80,000 every time we do.
Yeah,
those
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. So we're going to have fun. We're going to have a golf outing, and it's one of our major fundraisers. 215-768-6505. That's 215-768-6505. If you want to golf, put a foursome together. If you're a business and you want to, plant your information at one of the holes as a hole sponsor, we'd love to have you, because it's important that we respect our veterans. I want to get a quick, I know you've been away, and we want to talk a little bit about your vacation, and a historical one, to say the least, to be in Italy, France, and visiting Omaha Beach. And you're telling me, and you showed me some of the pictures, that it's remarkable.
Yeah.
The culture has not changed at all
No,
there.
it's amazing there.
It's incredible. But I want to get your perspective about this, and I know you're just coming back from vacation. We spoke briefly about it before we started. The escape incident in Philadelphia, how it occurred, and some of the preventive measures that were not in place. Apparently, they just walked off, and they didn't realize until 24 hours later.
Yeah.
So we don't see that happening up here in Bucks County.
Knock on wood.
Fortunately. But your thoughts on that?
Well,
I know
Tom, as we spoke, before the show, I was away, so I don't really know enough about the incident. But I will, from the little bit that I do know, I'm not going to judge any of the. I've never done that when I've been asked for a lot of different incidences. By media.
Sure.
I don't really make judgment calls, but until you're sitting in that person's shoes, it's very hard to say. But I will tell you, which maybe will be a part of this, is that people are having staffing issues. People still committing crimes. People need to go to jail. That's maybe another topic for another day, but people still have to go to jail for crimes that are being committed. And the staffing issue across America, and certainly in the law enforcement community, municipal police, sheriffs, state police, and corrections is critical. And I don't know when people are going to wake up that this is an issue. I don't know how we've gotten this bad with the staffing. I'm not sure. A lot of people will tell you, it stems from everybody sitting at home and COVID and getting free money, and people don't want to go back to work. They want to stay in their houses and work from their homes or apartments. They don't want to go back to offices, and that's going to have a lasting effect on us as well. We're going to see a lot of issues from that, just socialization skills. But for the law enforcement community, I can tell you, in the sheriff's office, and I don't want to speak for the prison in Bucks, the jail, but they can't get people. It's very hard to get candidates. We're having troubles in the sheriff's office. I have open spots. And I'm actually going word of mouth, and we've advertised, and you get like 24 applications. I'm actually reaching out to people that I think would be good candidates and trying to convince them to come over. Working for government agencies it's not a great paying job, but it has some good benefits. And the sheriff's office pays okay. and certainly with the prison too, for what you're asking people to do, being cooped up and you're a prisoner as well. You know,
Yes.
It's not like you're free to walk around
I've always said
so
that.
easily. It's a rough job in the prison. That's not a job I would want to do.
No.
And you know what? I think the government has to put their money where their mouth is, and you got to start offering better salaries. And the generations now, a lot of them, they're not interested. They're interested in a Monday through Friday, a 10 to 2 job. And that just doesn't exist.
No.
Not to run a world, not to run a country,
Especially
not to
this country.
keep a community safe.
Yes.
Can you imagine if our paramedics only worked from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.? What happens when you have a heart attack at 3 p.m.?
Yes.
So we've got to do something with the job market. And I think, when time will tell with this incident in Philadelphia, where they did not have enough staffing, but, you still have prisoners.
Yes.
Prisoners don't stop committing crime, or judges don't stop sentencing people because we're lack of staff. And they shouldn't be doing that. So that's going to come out, I think, in all this from the little bit that I know about it. But I think the bigger issue is that we have staffing issues.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna have a huge problem in the very, very, very near future with that. And I know when I came on in 1987 in Bensalem, I took the test in '86. There were 1,400 people that took that test. 1,400. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
I think their last test last test that I was involved in Bensalem a couple of years ago was less than 130. So. That's a
big impact.
That is a big impact. You're not going to get good candidates. You're gonna if you're struggling to get people, sometimes you're not getting the people that you want. And they talk about getting the best for the best in law enforcement in the criminal justice system. You really need to do that. You need to be able to entice people with the right salaries and benefits and things like that. But this generation, I'm not even sure what it's called now. I keep calling millennials. Millennials are long gone. They're in their 40s. So it's the Gen Zers and I think it's Gen Zers now, whatever it is. I don't know who came up with all these names.
I lost track of all these names.
I'm the last year of the baby boomers, so I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
I'm the last year, 64. So we've got to do something because people just don't want to work. They don't want to come in the offices. They don't want to do above and beyond. They don't want to give extra hours. And they seem not to be interested in the money, or I don't think they think about the benefits. So I don't quite understand.
It's a critical issue.
It is very critical. And I say we're in the colleges, I think, are killing these kids.
Oh my God.
Babying them to a ridiculous amount. I don't think college today is what college was years ago.
It was education before.
It was education. Now it's I don't know. I don't know what to say. I know what I want to say, but it'd probably be a problem. So normally I don't check myself. So it must have been really bad if I'm checking myself.
It's more of a socialized.
Well, it is. It's brainwashing to a degree, and I don't think they're really challenging kids. I certainly hope the medical schools are still challenging our children. Or the people that are going to be doctors. I would hope that hasn't changed. But some of the other stuff seems kind of silly. Some of the things that they're teaching now,
Absolutely.
And I kind of know it firsthand, and we'll leave it like that. But I think we got to start getting people back into the workforce and making them realize that the lights go on because somebody is working to put the lights on. And if we don't have people working to do that, we're going to be sitting in the dark with candles, and even that's going to be a problem if somebody has to make the candles.
So, I know. How far back do you go?
So
listen to Fred Harran. We're going to talk more with our sheriff, Fred, about some other topics that are of vital interest to you, our listeners. We're going to take a quick pause to identify our sponsors, and don't go anywhere. We'll return with Let's Go Places. Listen to me. With Behind the Badge with Sheriff at Bucks County, Fred Harran.
Hi, Paul Mellon from Team Toyota. With the season finally changing, things in the car market are pretty much the same. You can wait for months to find a new car, or don't wait at all. With over 100 certified Toyotas in stock with low mileage and great warranties, you can drive one home today. Plus, get free maintenance and roadside assistance for 1 year. Or choose a budget-friendly used car that meets your financial and lifestyle needs. So start the season in your new used car at Team Toyota. Just visit teamtoyota.net.
Hey, this is Jonesy. Kick off your Thursday and Friday evenings in style. Join me for an eclectic freeform mix of the hits and beyond. It's a happening, a musical journey. It's the Glenn Jones radio experience right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, Thursday and Friday, 5 to 6 p.m., directly following the legendary Jerry Blavitt. Radio, the way it ought to be.
Are you a parrot head? Not that kind. That's more like it. If you're this kind of parrot head, don't forget to check out the Denny-O Polka Show every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon right here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Hi, Paul Mellon from Team Toyota. With the season finally changing, things in the car market are pretty much the same. You can wait for months to find a new car, or don't wait at all. With over 100 certified Toyotas in stock with low mileage and great warranties, you can drive one home today. Plus, get free maintenance and roadside assistance for 1 year. Or choose a budget-friendly used car that meets your financial and lifestyle needs. So start the season in your new used car at Team Toyota. Just visit teamtoyota.net.
With this segment.
We're back here with our Bucks County Sheriff, Fred Harran. I'm Tom Mellon, your host for Behind the Badge, sponsored by Paul Muller, here at the beautiful showroom, of Team Toyota. And Fred, yeah, we have a lot to discuss. I mean, a lot of things that you can provide a perspective on based on your experience, so that the listeners, they're not going to get a slanted version. It's straight, direct. It's not political. It's right down the middle, the American perspective that you can provide. But, yeah, a lot of things that are going on that are just bad, not only with law enforcement and the protection of society with our criminals that are insulated in these walls, but it's in the car industry. People don't want to work today.
Yeah, it is scary. It's scary. But I can only imagine that at some point in the history of this country, this is not new. This must have happened at some point. I don't know. But hopefully we'll get through it, which I'm sure we will. Something will have to, come around, and we'll get through it. And as far as law enforcement, we'll continue to try to hire the best. But, the good thing that's happening in law enforcement right now, and in all society, but people get more scared of it when you're talking about the criminal justice system, is the technology that's available to us. And I think some really great stuff is on the way. Some great stuff is here. Some great stuff. One of the reasons that I decided to, and I think we've talked about this, to kind of, after 36 years, now I got coming on 2 years in the county. But, after 36 years in Bensalem, I wanted to be able to take some of the stuff, and I was very, very lucky in Bensalem. And I know the viewers have heard this, what I'm about to say. They've heard it before, but I think I can't say it enough. I was very blessed to work for a guy that, was big on doing the right thing.
Supportive.
Joe D., the mayor of Bensalem, Mayor DiGirolamo has always been very supportive of law enforcement, and continues today. He probably could get the award for the most supportive elected official for police in the country that I know of.
Oh yeah.
There's some other folks out there, that are pretty supportive of law enforcement. Governor of Florida is very supportive. Even people like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, I always say, was a great president for law enforcement. And we've talked about that before in the 90s. Bill Clinton was a great supporter of law enforcement. Probably has done more for law enforcement than any president I can remember in my lifetime in this career. But getting back to local law enforcement, we were able to really go out and kind of use technology, the newest, latest, and greatest in Bensalem, and that's why I kind of left, is because I wanted to be able to take that to the county. Because, as you know, I wanted to do new things, and we're slowly, trying to. Some things I can't talk about yet because I got to wait for other people to make the announcements.
Of course.
But we've got some new stuff coming up in the county, and some of the projects I am looking into, and I don't mind talking about it, is there's some technology out there now where you could register, let's say, your child with facial recognition, at the age of 3 or 4, kind of like what we did, the fingerprint kits.
Sure.
And I think I've said this. I've said it 100 times. I don't know if I've said it on this show, but the fingerprint kits are really only for finding dead children. They're not really good for finding children alive and well.
Right.
Because normally you find a body and you want to identify who that body is, and you have the fingerprints on file. Well, now we've gone to DNA, which we could do a lot more stuff with, and we could talk about that. Maybe the next show we talk about genealogy. Maybe we save that. We could do a whole show on genealogy because I think it's so interesting.
Yes.
23andMe and Ancestry.com. Let's talk about that the next show.
Sure.
But facial identification, people don't like the word facial recognition. I mean, call it what it is, but facial identification. You could register your child now, and if God forbid something ever happens to that kid, 3, 4, at the age of 10, the age of 12, the age of 15, if the person that took the child, or the child's now on their own, or the child doesn't even know who their real parents are anymore, and they walk into a box store, we'll use that, whether it be Kohl's or Target, Walmart, whoever. If they have the system in place, and it's very cheap, and the cameras pick it up, it could identify that is that kid at the age of 3.
That's incredible.
That the kid is now, that missing child from 3 years old is now this person here. Because certain things in your face don't change. As you and I think it changes, but the technology, the intelligence that's out there now, certain things don't change. And I'm working on a project now trying to bring that to Bucks County.
Wow.
And I think it would be beyond cool. I like to do new things. I like to do different things. And, yesterday, I came through Customs, U.S. Customs, in New York, entering the United States again. You all now have to look into those cameras. I'm not sure what they're doing, but I had to look at the cameras leaving. I had to look at the cameras coming. So they must have something. And what do I care?
You have nothing to hide.
I got nothing to hide. I didn't bring in anything into the country I shouldn't have brought in.
Sure.
So I have nothing to hide. I will tell you though, just a little sidebar, real quick. I never saw this before, so I was getting my bags off the conveyor belt, and I couldn't find my car keys. I put them in the bag. Long story, but anyway, it was in the bag, and all of a sudden there's a dog right next to me sniffing my bag.
Oh.
And it was just a little tiny dog. It wasn't like I'm used to, like Labradors or Shepherds and stuff like that. And I see a guy in uniform, and it said agriculture on his sleeve. So he said to me, "Sir, are you carrying any cheeses or meats or anything?" And so I opened the bag, and we had packed my wife and I were big Twizzler people. We love Twizzlers.
Oh, okay.
That's what we snack on. And just so you know, if you put a Twizzler in the refrigerator or freezer, it gets hard, so it's hard to chew, so it takes you longer to get the calories into your system.
Oh, that's good.
Just a little note.
Good health tip.
No fat in the Twizzler, just some calories, about 60 calories. And if it takes longer to chew, you're getting the sweetness over a length of time and not getting the calories. This is not the health show,
health point for
but
today.
We're throwing it out there. It's a freebie on me.
Dr. Fred Harran.
Doctor, I stayed in a Holiday Inn last night. I could have been a doctor right now.
You could have, yeah.
I'm kidding. I didn't stay in a Holiday. I stayed back here in Bucks County. It was nice to be home in America. I will tell you that. It was nice to be back in this country. And maybe that's a topic for another day. But anyway, the dog sits down by my bag, and the guy says, "Do you have meats or cheeses or anything?" I'm like, "No," because I'm like, first of all, they would go bad, I would think. But as I opened it up, and all the Twizzlers fell out onto the floor.
Really?
And I said, "Buddy, this is all I got. I don't know if you trained the dog to hit for Twizzlers, but I'm guilty if it's Twizzler." So he said, "All right, I'm sorry," and he walked away. But I never saw a dog
sniff out,
because the drug dogs are in the back. You don't see the drug dogs.
Right.
They're before your bags come out.
Sure.
They put the drug dogs on the bags, not out in front, except for the cruise ships. Work it when your bags are off the boat in the beginning. So now they have agricultural dogs. I did not know that for bringing fruits and stuff into the country. I did not know they did that. But
wow.
So the technology. Why did I tell you? So we're talking about technology. Yeah. This is what happens when you get old, folks.
Yeah.
I am the last year of the baby boomers, as we talked before the break. 64. So the technology, this technology out there that the facial identification is just, amazing. And, my feeling is, what do I care? It's kind of, we talked about the phones. We know because of Siri and everything else, these phones are constantly listening to you.
Face ID. Yeah.
My wife and I will be talking about red balloons, and all of a sudden I'll go look at my phone. I'm getting all these pop-ups for red balloons, to buy red balloons. Like, you think that was a coincidence? No, this phone is listening to you all the time. I could care less. It's going to be very boring. They're not going to enjoy what I have to say.
Right.
So, things like that really don't bother me. Tracks you, the locations and all that sort of stuff. Half the time I don't know the buttons I'm clicking on this thing.
Sure.
But the technology now that's out there is just, it's going to be, we're always need the police on the street, and that's never going to go away. But now with this technology, if we embrace it and we don't get scared of it and we allow it to happen, the crimes that we're going to solve, which thereby will prevent crime, because I don't really care about solving the crime. I care more about preventing the crime.
Yes.
If we can prevent that crime based on the technology, let's embrace it, folks. Let's put our arms around it and hug it till we can't, till we just squeeze the what out of it, and let's not be scared of the technology.
Of course.
And now we've talked about that artificial intelligence that's out there.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today.
Well, I knew that ahead of time. That's why I was
You are the best. Yeah, you are. What a way to segue.
Well, my wife says no one loves Fred as much as Fred. I don't know if that's a compliment she's giving me or not.
Of course it's a compliment.
You think?
Yes. I mean, you've been together for how long already?
Not that long.
Not that long?
We just got married.
Yes, but my point.
2 years.
It's going to keep getting better and better.
2 years and 2 weeks.
Yeah,
What's
how
coming
many
up?
days and how many? You're ready to knock it right down there.
I know exactly when.
That's great, though.
I better be quiet. I'm not sure of the exact date, so I don't know if she's listening. She's working right now, so I'm probably okay.
Thank God for that.
So, we have to embrace that technology.
Yes.
And there's so many cool things out there. Like we talked about this facial identification, and we've talked about DNA.
Yeah.
I just think the possibilities are endless. And as we talked earlier, I got to give our framers, the writers of our Constitution and the Declaration and all the documents, the Bill of Rights, they had some sense to know the future would bring changes when they wrote things like the First Amendment and the Fourth Amendment, search and seizure. And I think we've adapted to the change. When the Fourth Amendment was written, we had outhouses. You couldn't flush contraband down the toilet.
That's true.
So we've adapted to that over the years. Now we have indoor plumbing. We have incinerators that if you have an RV, it just burns everything. And so
I'm sure that is.
The judges in our courts have kept up. Sometimes not expeditiously. It takes a time for things to move in this country, but they have caught up. I don't agree with all the case law, but it's a system we have. It's the best system at this point, and that's the system we'll live by. It's not my job to interpret the judge's decisions and the laws and the legislators. It's my job to enforce it, and that's the way the system is set up, and I will do that. But folks, we need to embrace this stuff. We need not to be scared of it.
No question.
They didn't do fingerprints, 250 years ago, but we've adapted to it. DNA is evolving now. Genealogy, DNA, the testing of relatives and using that information to find criminals and stuff like that. Who cares? How many of you really know your fourth cousin? What do you care if he or she gets locked up?
I'm sure there's that's true. I'm sure there's a lot of cousins I've never even met.
How many of you know? I got another hit on Ancestry yesterday. Somebody's my fourth cousin. I'm like, don't know. I mean,
wealthy maybe. I mean, it's always nice to say hello.
He's probably not leaving me anything because if I don't know him, he don't know me.
Yeah, exactly.
So very, very interesting. But so if they can use that information to solve a crime and thereby preventing a crime, especially when you're talking about crimes of sexual assault and things of that nature. Burglaries and robberies, these are all bad crimes.
Yeah.
But, homicide and sexual assault, it doesn't get any worse than that.
No, it doesn't. And some change is notably important. Obviously, as we adjust to the way that changes occur, over the generations that we see. You're listening to Sheriff Fred Harran here in Bucks County at 746 East Lincoln Highway, which is our sponsorship right here with Paul Muller, Team Toyota. When we come back, we're going to talk about how this artificial intelligence, this AI, can help law enforcement agencies solve crimes a little bit quicker, more efficient. We're going to talk about the law or the intelligence centers that are out there, the agencies that are working hand in hand with this new technological device that is not only here now, but it looks like it's a wavelength to the future. We'll return with Bucks County Sheriff Fred Harran after a few more words from our sponsor. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, Paul Muller from Team Toyota. With the season finally changing, things in the car market are pretty much the same. You can wait for months to find a new car, or don't wait at all. With over 100 certified Toyotas in stock with low mileage and great warranties, you can drive one home today. Plus, get free maintenance and roadside assistance for 1 year. Or choose a budget-friendly used car that meets your financial and lifestyle needs. So start the season in your new used car at Team Toyota. Just visit teamtoyota.net.
Hi, this is Mayor Jeff Martin of Hamilton Township, inviting you to tune in to our monthly radio show, This Month in Hamilton. Video stream live the fourth Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. at WBCB1490.com. We will be featuring various guests from Hamilton Township to keep you up to date on what's going on in Hamilton.
WBCB is now on your FM dial at 107.3. Serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties since 1958, you can now listen to all of your BCB favorites crystal clear on 107.3 FM. A new age for WBCB on a new frequency, 107.3.
Hi, Paul Mellon from Team Toyota. With the season finally changing, things in the car market are pretty much the same. You can wait for months to find a new car, or don't wait at all. With over 100 certified Toyotas in stock with low mileage and great warranties, you can drive one home today. Plus, get free maintenance and roadside assistance for 1 year. Or choose a budget-friendly used car that meets your financial and lifestyle needs. So start the season in your new used car at Team Toyota. Just visit teamtoyota.net.
Welcome back to Behind the Badge here with Fred Harran. I want to get right into it because we only have so much time. This hour always goes by so fast. And to capture you for an hour is that's just a treasure. It really is.
I think they like it. I think the people in the courthouse like when I'm here for an hour and I'm not up there.
Fred's not here for an hour. Let's just go crazy and throw a party.
Well, they don't do that. They're good folks up there. They're all working hard. So.
Yeah. Well, these are TICs, the letters, the fancy letters. It's real-time intelligence centers, and how the instrument now that's out there, this intelligence, can improve a real-time intelligence center's ability to break down barriers, make sense of data, solve crimes faster, and obviously the ultimate, to keep communities safe. Well, this crime analyst at a Metro Real-Time Intelligence Center stares into the glow of the three computer screens that she has, and looking for the trends that are going on with crime and what's occurring. An investigation that could typically take weeks or months to resolve and to solve can now be wrapped up in days because of this new technology. There's no shortage of data available. She can, when I say she, any of the analysts out there, can access license plate readers, gunshot detection gunshot detection sensors, video doorbell cameras, which a lot of people have now, city and business security videos that are out there. I know one of the candidates running for mayor, Alan Dom, I think Rebecca is another one out there. Several of them don't want to put more video cameras out there for detection devices and all. Great, but my argument, not that it's an argument, my concern is let's find a way to resolve and detect the crime before you have to take a picture of it.
Right.
Because it's too late at that point. And then you got the National Crime Information Center, internal databases on the offenders, victims. I want to start talking about, you had mentioned facial recognition software that they have out there now.
Facial identification. People don't like.
Identification.
Let's not say facial rec. No, it says facial rec. People get scared of the term. It's all. If we change the word, the letters DNA to ABC, nobody would care. They think it was a Michael Jackson song. Oh, we're using Michael Jackson song to solve crime? Yeah, sign me up.
And you didn't think we had a comedy show with WBCB?
Well, you heard you remember when we first started? I was a theater major before I went.
You were.
I was theater. But I only had one. I had to quit theater because I only got one line.
That wasn't fair.
One line. I played Big Julie in Guys and Dolls. You ready for my line?
What was it?
Now we'll play with my dice.
That was it?
That was it. I became a cop, so I had to pay bills. So I became a cop.
Yeah, you're not going to get paid.
I wasn't getting paid. Yeah, there's not a lot of repeats of Guys and Dolls anymore.
Part of Actors Equity and all? Did you go to Actors Equity?
I was not. I was too good for that.
You were. You were far advanced. Far above that. Before these gun detection sensors right now, that are out there.
Shot spotter.
Yeah, the shot spotter. Before this occurs, there's presently, from what I understand, an AI device that can detect all beings, I should say, whether they're animals, whether it's vegetation moving around out there, or the bad people, for emergency patrol. Vehicles that could pose a serious threat. These detections that are out there now could result in preventing serious threats to our first responders and subsequently to our citizens as well. Well, this device is so powerful, they say, that, and I'm jumping ahead here a little bit, I'm going in and out with some of my notes. There's a device, an aerial device, that can detect up to 80 feet. Now, Fred, I don't know, how far is 80 feet? Well, it's better than having 0 feet.
Yeah, on a car stop, that's pretty far.
Yeah, that's pretty far. But, you have a police officer, and I remember when I was sitting in a police car, you remember as well, you got that 360-degree angular area that you have to be constantly watching, having eyes in the back of your head you don't have. But with this device that's out there, it's very, very powerful. It can actually detect weapons, human beings that are bad, and it's going to cut down on violence, crime, not only for our citizens but for our law enforcement agencies. Now, there's so much of a deluge of data between these AI devices now, the sensory detectors, and all I mentioned to you as you're aware, some of the silos that are out there with different departments where everything is kept introvertibly, detective agencies. Everybody's studying different things, but now everything can be capsulated so that this artificial intelligence can really help prevent crime and reduce crime and resolve the crimes that are occurring out there. Your thoughts?
You're exactly right. I mean, when I came on, and I forget the year you started.
74.
74.
You were just a baby.
74. I was
10.
Yeah, 10.
You were 10.
Oh shoot! I almost said something else. But Bree, Brett, do you have the 7-second delay on today or no? No. So, wow, 10.
10. You were 10 years old when I was out
I don't
there
feel so old.
Fighting crime in the streets of Philadelphia.
Whew.
God.
What the heck were we saying?
The Rizzo days.
Oh,
yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, the technology.
Yeah, the technology, these sensors. We don't want to lose track of that.
Yeah, I mean,
real-time intelligence centers.
This is the future. This is the wave of the future.
Right.
And we have to embrace it. As I was telling you, I've seen at trade shows patrol cars that have automatic deployment of drones from the top of the car to give you 360.
You were saying that.
So there's devices that can tell you of guns and things of that nature, things that could be dangerous to law enforcement. We have to embrace this, but a lot of people will see what the courts say with this sort of stuff. Is this violation of Fourth Amendment? Is this not? I don't believe it is, but I think as a technology, and there's a lot of smart people out there. I'm smart enough to know I'm the bottom half of the smartest of the 50% of the smartest people in the room.
You always say that. I'm not agreeing with you, but that's
well.
All right.
I appreciate that, but I know where I stand, and I think that's important because there's so many smart people out there, and the technology that is coming out, and these real-time crime centers, they are the future. Bucks County is a great county. We have crime. We're not New York City. We're not Chicago. We're not Philadelphia. But it's because of Philadelphia, the crime that we deal with here, and Trenton, and even New York City, because we're only an hour and 15 minutes outside of New York.
Sure.
But we don't have the street-level crime, thank God, that they do in some of these big cities. Not to say we can't or won't get there, but the crime we have is important to the people of Bucks County, the property crime, the burglaries and the robberies and things of that nature, and some of the other things that are happening now, and, of course, the drugs. So we should embrace this, and you got to put money towards it.
Sure.
This real-time crime centers are great technology gathering point. They're able to use facial identification. They'll be able to use all this other stuff that's coming out now, the shot spotter technology, the cameras in the cars, the cameras, body cameras on police officers, cameras that could get deployed via drones. When drones first came out, they were $12,000. We bought our first drone in Bensalem. I think we paid about $12,000 for it. It wasn't local tax money. We got money from another source to purchase it. But now they're nothing. They're down to in the less, small amount of thousands, and we got disposable drones for $100.
Oh my goodness!
Where we could fly into someone's house, and if the person smashed it with a baseball bat, who cares? It was $100 that we lost.
Right.
You can go to Walmart and buy those type of things. So.
Sure.
This is the way the technology is now. Why not utilize that? Why not utilize this intelligence? Why not utilize the resources that we have? And we shouldn't be afraid of it. Same thing with this artificial intelligence. We're just starting to learn about this now. I'm sure the government, whether it be the military or CIA, this stuff's been around for a long time.
Thank you. You're stealing my thought on that one.
This stuff is not new, but it is new for civilian law enforcement and civilian authorities. And when I say civilian, I mean us. We're not non-military, non-CIA, that sort of stuff. It's like DNA. DNA has been around a lot longer than we've been using it, in local government. We started using it in Bensalem in 2010, and the rest of the county in 2015, and now it's being used all over. Not just Pennsylvania, but across the country and in other countries as well. It's being used more and more, and it should be used more than it is. But that's another story, and that's maybe again another thing I can't announce, but it would not be my place. But hopefully, we're going to see some changes in that here in the Commonwealth. But we need to get on board with this stuff. The train's pulling out. Get on board, or you'll be on the station waiting for the next one, and it might be too late.
They worry too much about they meaning the public, citizens. They worry so much about violation of your civil rights and Constitution and all. And as you pointed out earlier in the show, there's a notable need for change from time to time, especially with the technology, that if it's going to help save lives, if it's going to prevent catastrophes, if it's going to enable our law enforcement officers, our first responders, to effectuate their work out there and help them from bodily harm, physical bodily harm, serious, or even losing lives, why not? I mean, how's that a violation if you have sensors out there that are reaching out? Okay, they're detecting someone that may have a device that's it could be a gun.
It should be used, and I lost my thought, but
it's all right.
the technology should be used, and you still have to people do have rights, and we have to protect those.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the principles of this country. There has to be protected, but you also have to be able to tweak the laws.
That's the word.
I'm not talking about cut them with a chainsaw.
Right.
I'm not talking about burn them with acid. I'm not talking about demolishing and throwing a nuclear bomb on top of them. I'm just talking about a little tweak every now and then.
Yeah.
And I think in general the courts do that. Sometimes it takes a lot longer than I would like, but I'm not a very patient person. But we have to be mindful. We have to have an open mind to when the changes come. We have to be able to go with it and deal with it. And I think that the next 10, 20 years in this country, the evolution of some of this technology is just going to be in 20 years from now, if we're still doing this show, and I hope not. But I hope I'm not.
I'll be 92.
Yeah, well, but you know what? You don't age at all. You could still be doing it. But I'm hoping, in 20 years when people are doing this,
sure,
that they're talking about what we're talking about, and it's going to be some new technology that people are going to be afraid of, and facial recognition and artificial intelligence will be an old thing. And we talked about that the movie Demolition Man with Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
And he was a cop that got frozen and brought back in time. And you still need some old-time skills to enforce the law. Wesley Snipes played the bad guy.
Yes.
And I remember that scene where these big cops were like, "Sir, put your weapon down and, please comply with me." And then they didn't do, so they said, just use a little bit more assertiveness in your speech, and the computer's telling the cops what to do. There's some truth to that, but also at the end of the day, sometimes you need some old-fashioned police work as well to get the job done. But we're always going to need cops on the street. We got to do things to ensure our workforce. We've got to do things to make sure we get the best possibility of law enforcement, and we've got to embrace the technology.
We want to talk more about this, and as far as the constitutional laws and how they need to be amended, how they need to be changed to better safeguard our communities. And it starts with our professionals, our police officers and all. Let's realize that they're out there to enforce the law. And enforcing the law means to protect people.
Right.
So that's part of the Constitution. So if someone I mean, and as light as just patting somebody down because you have a suspicion somebody could cause danger. Okay, you're not planting a weapon on the person.
Right.
You're just checking to make sure the person's okay. I don't see that as being a problem. I think that's one of the things that we have to consider. We need to be a little bit more aggressive out there. That's just my opinion, to make sure that we're safeguarding the needs of our community. You're listening to Fred Harran, the sheriff of Bucks County here, with some words of wisdom, as always, and to teach you a little bit more about what's going on with law enforcement and with the responsibilities he has as a sheriff here in Bucks County, keeping our community safe. We'll return after a few words from our sponsor.
Hi, Paul Mellon from Team Toyota. With the season finally changing, things in the car market are pretty much the same. You can wait for months to find a new car, or don't wait at all. With over 100 certified Toyotas in stock with low mileage and great warranties, you can drive one home today. Plus, get free maintenance and roadside assistance for 1 year. Or choose a budget-friendly used car that meets your financial and lifestyle needs. So start the season in your new used car at Team Toyota. Just visit teamtoyota.net.
Opinions matter, and so does yours. Hi, I'm Joe Fabrizi, inviting you to join us every Monday at 1 p.m. for Opinions Matter, right here on 1490 AM WBCB. Opinions Matter is now live streamed at WBCB1490.com. We want to hear from you because your opinion does matter.
WBCB is now on your FM dial at 107.3. Serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties since 1958, you can now listen to all of your BCB favorites crystal clear on 107.3 FM. A new age for WBCB on a new frequency, 107.3.
Hi, Paul Mellon from Team Toyota. With the season finally changing, things in the car market are pretty much the same. You can wait for months to find a new car, or don't wait at all. With over 100 certified Toyotas in stock with low mileage and great warranties, you can drive one home today. Plus, get free maintenance and roadside assistance for 1 year. Or choose a budget-friendly used car that meets your financial and lifestyle needs. So start the season in your new used car at Team Toyota. Just visit teamtoyota.net.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Frank, are you still in the garage there listening to this wonderful show? Frank and Terry Colozzi, as I said, they listen to all of my shows. I call them my mascots for all the shows we do here at WBCB 1490. Let's talk about these instruments, the present and the future for crime detection and safety. Are these actual instruments that will prove to be effective, Fred? Obviously, AI, it's still at the early stages, but I see where it's effective. It's effective because it's putting together everything in a nutshell and cutting down on crime detection.
Well, and you're going to see a lot of effectiveness from this technology, and what you're also going to see is what a lot of times, and I've tried to use this as a selling point for utilizing the technology that's out there, is there'll be a less hands-on with law enforcement, and that's what I'm using this very, very widely phrase that's what the people want. At least the people that are screaming on television and rioting and all that kind of silliness.
Sure.
That they want less hands with law enforcement because hands-on means more altercations and things like that with criminals, not with the good people. It's the criminals that give you the fight back, not the innocent people.
No, you're right.
This technology, it's the computers and the technology and the software and the intelligence that does a lot of the work. As I said, before the break with Demolition Man, you're still going to need, unless we're going to come up with some sort of robot system to go put the handcuffs on somebody, you're still going to need the old-fashioned law enforcement component, but it'll be at the end of the train and not the whole engine and all the cars and the caboose. It'll be the end result where somebody might have to go out and there'll still be some interviewing, but the technology and the science will do a lot of the work for you. And again, I go back to things that I know best, and I utilize DNA, where the science is doing the work for you. The technology is doing the work for you. It's putting, A to B, that, person A is the person that committed crime B. And then you're just going out and cleaning it up, just finishing it up and making the arrest, so to speak. So this artificial intelligence that's going on out there, it's going to give law enforcement some amazing information. And, you talked about more interested, and we've talked about more interested in preventing crime than just, taking pictures and getting the intelligence to lock somebody that committed a crime. Well, people don't commit one crime. No, I don't think there's too many criminals out there to do one and done.
No, there's recidivism.
Yes, and that's why you have serial criminals. You have serial burglars, serial robbers, serial rapists, serial murderers, whatever it might be. Serial retail theft criminals, people that just steal from stores all the time. And the technology that's out there now, and we're going to see, because we're just learning more about the AI. For us, we're learning more about it. I could tell you that I get emails every day about the technology conferences and seminars and Zooms. And you can't go to every one because you'd be doing it all day long. But I get to a couple, at least online, just to learn enough to stay current. And, but it comes with money. It costs money, some of this stuff. And some elected officials don't always want to put money towards this type of things. It's not shiny. You can't get your arms around it and do a ribbon cutting ceremony on this type of stuff. But, I've said this. I know I've said it on the show because I say it all the time. People care about two things. They care about their schools and their safety. All the stuff to save the tree and, do another park and put fish in the river or whatever it is. That's all beautiful stuff. It's all great. It's all important. But, another
Safety.
park gets opened, or my family's safe and my kids are being educated. Let's put the three of them in order. Which two are at the top of your list?
Good point.
So not to say the third's not important, but you got to take what you could take. And I could tell you, I was very lucky at this budget. I was able to get more sheriffs, not without a fight, in my budget because we were down, and we've talked about that. We've talked about the amount of warrants we have out there. Now I have a warrant team out there, and maybe in a couple months we'll have some great numbers. I want to come back and really give you a breakdown of all the bad guys and gals we've gotten off the street. They're doing it every day. They're out there. My warrant team is not my warrant team. I apologize. It's your warrant team. You pay for them. Your warrant team is out there every day, taking people into custody. And what I want to do in the future is use the intelligence to track these people down, so I don't have to put our sheriffs in harm's way.
Right.
Where we're narrowing down locations and things like that, and it's still very difficult. The laws are out there, and it's people would be amazed at how much our hands are tied trying to get criminals off the street. I've been doing this now 38 years, and I get frustrated, and but I play within the rules. Maybe that was a bad way to put it, playing, but I stay within the guidelines of the rules that are given to me. Sometimes I would like not to, because I think some of the rules are handcuffing and antiquated, and just the bad guys and criminals stay ahead of the rules. They have no rules.
No, they don't.
And I'm not talking about arresting people that shouldn't be arrested. I'm not talking about those type of rules. I'm talking about rules where little Johnny doesn't live or doesn't have mommy's house as his main address, but he stays there every single night on her couch.
Jeez.
We know little Johnny's on the couch. We have information, and it's just hard to get little Johnny off the couch through the law enforcement channels because it's not Johnny's house. And it's very difficult. It's just very difficult. But those are the rules, and we'll utilize them until the rules change, and we'll work within the confines of the laws that are there. I have no problem doing it. That's the way the system is. That doesn't mean I can't be frustrated about it, but we'll still play by the rules. It might take us a few more days to get little Johnny, but could you imagine with the artificial intelligence that's going to come out that'll help us maybe make more of a case, or make more of a probable cause affidavit with more intelligence on Johnny's whereabouts if something out there is able to track him for us, so to speak. So it's very, very interesting, and I can't wait to see. We're not talking about the next decade. We're talking about the next 10 months, the next 20 months, how it's going to evolve. We're not talking about something that we're thinking about, and we're going to see it 10 years from now when I won't be in this job anymore. We're going to be seeing something in months to a couple of years. You're going to see some great use of this technology in the field by civilian law enforcement, which is us. When I say civilian, I mean non-military use.
Sure. More of the first responders have been seriously injured in 2021. You ready for this? And this is a statistic. This is why these devices are so important. more first responders in 2021 have either been seriously injured or killed in the line of duty than the prior 20 years combined. So if that's not telling people that, these changes that are occurred, these mechanisms that are going to help help us resolve crime, fight it, detect it a little bit more effectively, it definitely has to happen. And if so, shouldn't these systems be implemented despite the costs? I mean, that's another big concern, despite the costs for our law enforcement agencies. It's a chuckle because we have to go and we have to prove why we want these certain things implemented.
Tom, I laugh because I see, I've been very lucky to have a front row to the greatest show on earth, and front row seat, and I see some of the things that we spend money on, and I gotta laugh.
These are more important, right?
I would say more important. It depends who you are, but I think even the most. I know I'm going to tick people off, but who cares?
Right.
Even the most liberal of folks, you still want to be safe. No one wants to be not safe in your house.
Correct.
There's no way you could be, left over from, a flower child and, marching with Abby Hoffman and who I met, by the way.
Interesting.
And having all those ideas and not want to be safe. Everybody wants to be safe. And you want to be, at the end of the day, if you're telling me you don't want you and your family safe and you'd rather, plant a tree than keep your family safe, then, it's time to get evaluated.
True.
Something's not right with you.
There isn't. And there's people out there, they could be going over a bridge crossing, and there's people, law enforcement, you can't go. Well, no, I have the right to go over there. I think I can be safe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain measure of, common sense.
Well, yeah, it's crazy, and in other countries, it's weird what they do. Safety different levels higher than us, and some levels lower than us.
And we're dealing with it.
And it was a little troubling. When you see some things like, did I just see what I just saw?
Yes, it's disconcerting. It really
very,
is.
very, very strange. But you know what? We'll make it through. And
the hour's over already, Fred. I mean, we're coming to the end. Summing up, buddy. I mean, I'm happy that you're back from vacation. We didn't get a chance to talk about Omaha Beach, but it's just incredible.
Maybe
over there.
next time, yeah.
Maybe next time we'll talk.
It's kind
of
surreal.
It is surreal.
But
the culture has not changed over there.
No, not in Normandy. It's pretty amazing.
It is.
But I think we need to talk about genealogy. I think we could do a half a show on that.
Let's do that.
And I'll bring somebody in because I'm not the expert. I know just enough to get through
Become dangerous.
Become dangerous. Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but I'm glad you did. and we'll we could talk about more about technology in the future. But
we will.
I have a guy in mind that maybe I'll bring on.
Let's do that.
So I think we could do. We could definitely. Genealogy is very interesting. I think because as the cases are being solved in the news right now, I think people are very interested how that works. I'm learning every day about it. I find it incredibly interested. Obviously you've heard me talk about DNA over and over and over again.
That's awesome.
So my interest in it. Take it away,
thanks.
Tommy.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you listeners. I hope that you're learning as much as I learn each and every time that we get together with the sheriff, with Fred, and the topics that we bring up. They're important for you to understand. You're busy with your life and activities. We put these programs together, Fred and I, so that we know that you'll learn a little bit more about the community, how safe it needs to continue to be. Most importantly, Fred, thanks for joining us
today.
Thanks, Tom. As always, Bree, thank you for being in here, as you always are, to keep everything nice and tidy. And don't go. I'm not going to say don't go away. We are going away. I was getting ready to take another station break. But no, thank you for listening today. On behalf of everyone here, Paul Muller at Team Toyota, myself, I'm Tom Mellon, your host, Fred Harran. Be safe. Stay well. Jerry, I'm coming home soon to walk the dog, as I always tell her.
Do you really have a dog? I wonder.
I do. Dude, he's a biggie, too, 110 pounds. But we can talk about that later, off the screen here. Thanks for joining us today, and most importantly, God bless America.